Hi, TIs. Um, I'm over by Boost because, as I told you, they put a cap on the unlimited, and I read the window, and I'm paying over $50 a month with no income, and it says unlimited, 15, whatever you call it, and they put a cap on mine, and that's for $35. And they put a cap on mine, and I'm paying over 50. But the catch is that you have to have 6 months without a late payment. And I come in here and pay, and he gives me a receipt. It's paid for, and then Boost will shut my my phone off over $1.50. So I guess I don't qualify for that. Yeah. So I'm not sure if they'll unlock the phone if I switch over to Metro, and it'll cost nothing. Will cost nothing. If you guys know about this stuff, let me know, because they're unlimited. I think it's 30. Yeah, I guess Dish bought it. But what I wanted to talk to you about is it makes me sad, because a lot of us have been homeless before. I mean, I'm too old and I'm too disabled to be homeless now, and it scares me that I can't get back on SSI, because of, the doctor couldn't find my records after 24 years. Now I don't know what HMO I'm on, because every old card I try, it's not working. Just a bunch of things, but this homeless man, I didn't hear nobody behind me, and I heard, "How you doing?" And I'm not rude, so I kind of turned around. I'm sitting on the curb. Boost Mobile is over there somewhere, but yeah, and I turned around. He was like fixing his mask, and he told me, he goes, "You're not evil," and walked by. Well, he was walking by. I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "I'm one of the targeted." But yeah, he was bent over fixing his mask, and he looked up, and while he was fixing his mask, he goes, "Oh, you're not evil." Wow. And sometimes I think, have you ever seen the homeless, where a lot of them are like talking to themselves? It seems like there's a lot more homeless people talking to themselves than there used to be years back. And well, anyways, yeah, what? Sometimes I wonder if, I don't know how to explain it. I wonder if, they're hearing, the people on their remote. Maybe they're on remote, or they're being gang stalked, and they're hearing the people on their remote. And, that's why they look like they're crazy. You get me? And, a lot of people, not all people, but some of the people that are homeless and stuff, yeah, you could tell they're tweaked out, or they got a sign for money and stuff. No, they got a sign for food, and it's happened a lot to quite a few people that used to live in my building and live around that don't live there no more. They're still probably alive. I'm in touch with a lot of them. They better be alive. But see, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck. Really, I lost it. See, it's that simple. It's that simple. You know, I'm just talking to you, and that's how bad it's gotten, you know, with this crap. I mean, I've never been graceful, and I've always been a little klutzy, you know, and I could see the accident making me a little bit more klutzy, but not like this, and not like this, that it's so quick to lose my thoughts. I mean, it is so quick. Let me backtrack. I was talking about the homeless guy that walked by. Why did I start talking about my neighbors? There's a reason. Yeah, it happens worse than this. It happens worse than this. Boost Mobile, that guy. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. But, you know, a lot of the homeless people, you know, for a while, when I used to have, like, a little bit, but still barely made my rent and stuff, you know, I mean, they'd ask for they'd have a sign sitting there saying, need food and stuff like that, I'm hungry, and you'd give them something, you know, and, they'll tell you, no, I need money. No, I don't want food, I want money. You know, there's just, I don't know where my point was, but I had a point. You know, I don't know. I just lost it. You know, and it happens to me all the time. It happens to me all the time. I was going somewhere with this. You know, I was diagnosed schizophrenic many years ago. I was hearing voices, but, you know, I mean, I have a cousin, you know, he has schizophrenia. In fact, he died in a mental institution. And, you know, I used to take him to lunch once in a while. And he'd stop and, you know, be talking to himself and mumbling. So, you know, I was a kid. I asked him, you know, who are you talking to? You know, knowing that schizophrenia runs in our family. Well, in our blood, whatever, our DNA. Genetics, there you go. And he'd say, you know, I'm talking to the voices inside my head. So when I started hearing voices, I didn't hear them in my head. You know, I started hearing them under the motor of the refrigerator. You know, like hum of the electricity. You know, in the background of the television. You know, the background sound. So I had a young child. I had just got out. So, you know, and I had a mate. So I pretended that I was just, because you have to be sane. I pretended that I was just interested in how electronics worked. You know, so I'd take everything apart. And, you know, now it's all public. You get me? Now it's all public. And targeted individual, his name's Kevin Christian. You know, he said that that's, you know, when I started listening to him, and he said that, he started hearing voices, behind the motor of the refrigerator and stuff, yeah, it didn't make me happy, but it made me feel better that it's just not me. It's not just me. I mean, it got so bad that, okay, you're gonna laugh. I took apart the light switch to the bathroom, and there were 2 wires coming out of the wall from the light switch, and I was in my 20s, and anybody that come by and went to use the restroom, they go to flip the switch, and zzz, but I'd tell them about it before, or if I didn't see them go to the bathroom and stuff, ah! But yeah, those schizophrenia medications throughout the years, they really messed me up. Tardive dyskinesia, I don't know if you know what that means, but it's involuntary tics and movements, and I've been off of, all psych meds, I have problems, but I don't have schizophrenia. With Geodon, that medication, I started shuffling like a J-cat back and forth, and always moving my legs, and I lost my hair. My hair was like a little past my butt, and it was coming out everywhere. I don't mean just coming out, I mean it was falling out everywhere. When I went to cook, it was on my hands, it was in the food. When I showered, it was all over my back, all over the towel. And I was, my little daughter, she would, it was tough raising her, but one thing she did do was she tried to help me keep my hair. I wore ponytails a lot anyways when I was around the house. I still do. Ponytails are those little twisty things. Yeah, she brushed my hair really carefully and put it in ponytails so it would not, so it would keep it untangled and stuff. And I kept on having to cut it shorter and shorter. And, I was trying to keep it as long as I could, because my son had been locked up since he was 15, and he was 18 now. Well, then he was 18. He only stayed out for 3 months, but he's been out for 2 years now. He stayed in there almost 12 years. But I wrote to him, and I said, "Son, my hair's falling out." He said, "Well, stop dyeing it." I didn't dye my hair. I hadn't dyed it for many years. But, I kept some hair, and then when he got locked back up, I had to shave it. I had went from 363 pounds with diabetes. I caught diabetes, and since I had been a heroin addict before, I didn't want to be shoving a needle in my stomach and seeing hypodermic needles for the rest of my life. So, I cut down what I eat really a lot. And I'd walk around the block of the church every freaking night with my Black and Milds. But then I lost too much weight. I went down to 96 pounds because that brought on a nausea, and I really couldn't eat. I tried to force myself, but I couldn't. And being 96 pounds, it brought on, more problems. You get me? But I did get rid of my diabetes, and I haven't been at risk since. And I just lost my thought. So I was 96 pounds, and I'm 5'7". I used to be 5'8". I'm 5'7". So, that on somebody, yeah. And then plus having to shave your head because you kept on it shorter and shorter and shorter, and it still was falling out. And then plus shuffling back and forth. I looked like a straight J-cat, and I couldn't, my Dickies or my checkered shorts, because, yeah, I didn't really dress a whole lot girly, but they wouldn't stay up even with my belt, and it didn't look like baggy clothes. It looked like I was homeless. Yeah, it looked like I was homeless, and I had lost so much of myself that I lost myself inside. I was walking around with my head down, and I went with a few people from my home team, my hood. Like I said, it's more than a gang now. Those are my brothers. They're my family. I grew up with them and on their parents' floors. Mostly Shorty's mom's floor. But they reminded me who I am. And I started standing straight again. And people were like, "Did you get taller?" Because I had been like that for a while. But the side effects of the schizophrenia medication, it really screws you up. If you're not something and it deems you that, it really, really screwed me up. So, a lot of us TIs, we get labeled schizophrenic. And I knew that, I thought, hey, my cousin said he hears voices in his head. And I was hearing, yeah. So, I don't know. I think a lot of these people that have been diagnosed schizophrenic aren't schizophrenic. And back where I lived, when I first got out and I started hearing those, voices, they used to have, I'd see people driving around and it was all like it was coordinated, and I called it baseball signs, and I'd always see somewhere down the block, it was in Bellflower, somebody would be sitting at the corner with a newspaper, reading the newspaper in their car. And, somebody said something. He was a younger boy that had a crush on me. He was a teenager. And I said, "Are you talking about those, he said something about the Watch Patrol. I said, "Hey, are you talking about those people that do those hand signals and stuff and follow you around in the car?" And he goes, "You know about them, right?" I said, "No." I said, "Are those the same people that meet up at that school down the block and they park their cars and then you see them, get in their cars and stuff?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "What about the guy at the corner? There's always a guy somewhere on the blocks at the corner reading the newspaper." And he said, "He's not reading a newspaper. He's got a little hole in that newspaper." So, my dad left me. He left me some badges. He left me some weird shit, and I think it all had to do with that, because it was pretty weird things. And he left me badges. And I don't know if you guys know the Key Largo in Torrance. It used to, I don't know if it's still there. It used to be a biker bar. And he told me that his friend, it has those door handles on the outside where you pull it open. He said his friend, put something in there, in the door handles and stuff. And, it was a biker bar. And, he did that with the things. And he had brought a flatbed and took all the Harleys there. He said that was the friend that gave him those badges. But You know, I lost all of them but a couple. Well, I didn't lose them. They're somewhere. But I remember one I had just threw in my stuff, and throughout the years, you know, moving, I never really thought about it. And you know, I didn't know what it meant on there. And then, you know, with this targeting and stuff, I seen Citizen Watch Patrol or some shit. Well, anyways, I went and dug it out, and sure enough, it was the same thing on this one badge, and I still have it somewhere, unless they take it. But yeah, it's a trip. But that was in the early 90s. So, you know, and I was hearing stuff then, but it feels better that I'm not on the schizophrenic medication. You know, I'm trying to get back into mental health because, yeah, I need therapy, and, you know, I have other problems. I've learned how to handle them different now. But, yeah, my dad left me some pretty weird things that, you know, I didn't know what a Mason was until he died. You know, then I found out he was a 33rd degree Mason, and yeah, I had no idea. He died in 97. But I don't know if I was protected when I was alive. I mean, when he was alive, you know, and he was like, you know, one of them or something. But I do know that he did have something in my car, because he'd tell me, your car's not working right, don't go to Hawthorne, you know, which is my neighborhood, or to Lawndale, you know, stay in the area. And he'd always know. He'd always know, or he'd show up. Oh, I was just driving by. You know, so who knows? You know I can't focus and stuff, and I take you probably all over the place. But I never used to do that until the targeting. I mean, it started out that I only did it when I was writing a letter. And it was like that many years. But now, yeah, now since the targeted starting really bad, I can't focus. Especially if I haven't seen somebody for a while, you know, yeah. Or if I haven't been around people. And I'm learning to be more quiet, you know, being around my handler and being interrupted all the time, or, you know, speaking and stuff, and what me having to repeat it and yell and waste that energy. So I'm learning to be more quiet. I'm trying. Okay, I hope I didn't, you know, and you probably turned off the video right in the middle, or when I started speaking, because, yeah, you know, if anybody else goes through the same crap with their brain, let me know. Peace out, targets.